Hello my lovely book besties, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angel. Today's video I am doing the end of year book tag. Not sure who started this video idea, I sure as hell didn't, but I'm jumping on the bandwagon and I'm excited. This is my first one. This is my second year as a book girly, so I figured it was time to do one of these videos. The questions that I'm using from Larry and Destiny, and none of the books are organized. Just taking the thumbnail, they got unorganized, but hey, my videos are very unorganized as well, so what can I say? It's quite fitting. This and Yap About Books. Let's get into it. Okay, first question. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. My grandmother called, so had to answer. Okay, where were we? Question number one. Most disappointing read of the year. We're starting off not so strong, but let's talk tea. Most disappointing read of the year. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I don't know, not that good at reading. Highly disappointed because I've heard great things about this book. Only great things. Well, I've heard that it was like slow and stuff, but like I heard that the plot twist would be worth it. It was not worth it at all. It did not make sense to me. Was not very thrilling. Yeah, I mean, it claims itself as a thriller. I feel like we focused more on the therapist than the patient, and when it came down to the patient, I really didn't care. I was just focused on the therapist and what he had going on in his life because it was messy, very messy, and I was there for that, but like the plot twist, it just did not make sense to me, so quite disappointing. Next we have an Underdog book of the year. For me, an Underdog book was Normal People by Sally Rooney. That's because I just expected to hate this book. Like going into it, I knew that there was no quotation marks, and I just hear like a lot of mixed reviews, and I just thought I wasn't going to be a person to like this, but oh my gosh, I love it so much. I just started the show as well, and even better. I found myself relating to both of the characters and like really being understanding of both perspectives. And a lot of people find this book frustrating, and I do see that, like miscommunication can be frustrating, but it's also just so real. It's so real. Like it's normal people. It's normal people. Yeah, definitely was an Underdog for me. Next we have a book that was overhyped, and you know what, Silent Patient can go for this one as well, but I got some other ones, so hold on. And yes, I have on pajama bottoms. What do you expect? I'm at home, business up top, cozy on the bottom, okay? Overhyped book award goes to If You Had Been With Me. This year, I have come to realize that maybe YA just isn't for me. Like, I had read this book because I heard that it was really sad, and sad things happened, don't get me wrong, but it just didn't hit for me. And some people love it. I've heard amazing things, but I just did not feel the same way. And then also, there's a question on here about Cringiest book. This one takes the cake, okay, because the tiara, but I'm trying to think of other cringy books as well. I think this is the cringiest, so we knocked 2 questions out. Next up, a book that surprised you, and for me that book is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, and it surprised me because Kristen Hanna normally writes historical fiction, and when I think of historical fiction, I just think history, school, boring. You know, I did not expect to really fall in love with the story and be so invested with the characters. Like, her storytelling skills, immaculate, so good. I won't say too much because I have a reading vlog on this, but it really surprised me, and it was a very pleasant surprise. New favorite author that you discovered this year. For me, that is none other than Miss Alice Feeney. Her thrillers, I eat them up every single time, even though I only read 2, so not too much. Best thriller that I've read this year. This wasn't like amazing, but her writing, I was intrigued through and through, and I'm so excited to read more of her books. I know she just came out with a new one, so I'm definitely excited for that. I have really loved thrillers this year, and my go-to is usually Frida McFadden, but she might be up there with her. So I'm glad I finally picked up her books this year. Your favorite main characters of the year. Me being human and all, I simply cannot pick just one book for this, so hold on. You guys, I love talking about these books. The Magnolia Parks universe characters, all of them. I need all of them. Magnolia, BJ, Daisy, Christian, Julian, Henry, Jonah, Bridget. Who am I missing? Tara? Yeah, I just need them all. Let me stop myself before I just yap on about these books because I can do it all day. Obsessed with the characters from the Throne of Glass series, mainly the ones in this book, but then from books before as well. Like, I can't forget my girl Nehemia. Like, yeah, just the whole Throne of Glass universe. I love these characters so much and I cannot wait to get back to them. Like, I miss them. Your favorite book couple or couples of the year? Johnny and Shannon. I love them together so much and I can't wait to get back to them. Like, I would have included them in my favorite like main characters, but I'm still getting to know them. Like, I know that I love them, but like I still need to get to know them. And then of course we have Magnolia and BJ. I know, I get it, I don't want to hear it. I know there's toxicity there, but there's so much growth, so much development, and you either get them or you don't get them, and I get them and I love them so much. Moving on, don't get me started. Trying to think if there's anyone else. Well, I have a feeling that Aylin and Rowan are going to be up there for sure. For sure. Author that didn't work for you this year. Well, like I mentioned earlier, I don't think YA is for me. So I have Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Like, I read the first Inheritance Games book and it didn't do it for me. And then I read The Naturals and it was good, but it didn't stand out for me. Like, I think if I'm going to read a mystery or a thriller, I just read one that isn't YA. I'm just thinking that maybe she's not for me, and that's okay. But I don't know, like, I heard that the series gets better, so maybe I'd be interested in like trying out the second book. What is the happiest book you read this year? You know, to be honest, I might not like happy books now that I think about it. Well, define happy, because like a fantasy series, it takes a while to get to that happy ending, but you get there eventually. You do. Sometimes. Most of the time. And then romances, I like devastating, heartbreaking romances, so they go through a lot, but sometimes they get that happy ending. Is that a happy book? I don't know. Let me just see what I can find. Okay, I found one that's pretty happy. Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Second chance romance. So they did have to like work through things to get their happy ending, but they got their happy ending. So I guess it's a happy book. And I don't know, it's very cozy, makes you feel all warm inside. Sounds happy. So happiest book I read this year. Okay, now we have what was the saddest book you've read this year? And I already know. I'm still sad. Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. I can't even explain why it's sad, but if you know, you know. And I have not even brought myself to read Into the Dark yet. And it's gonna be like almost a year that that book was out. I don't know, but this just really broke my heart. And you know what? I love that because I have never felt this way before about a book. I just love it so much. So I need to read Into the Dark very soon. I miss them so much. The writing is just so beautiful. I miss them. I love them so much. I need to move on for right now. I fear I'll never move on from this, but for right now, let's move on to the next question. My heart. Seriously, every time I think about it, it hurts my heart. Like, I'm so sad. Let's just move on. The best book adaptation of the year. So, to be honest, I've only seen one, maybe two. I went to see It Ends With Us. I thought it was pretty good. You know, Lily's clothing, different story, and let's not talk about it. And then I've seen a couple of episodes of Tell Me Lies. Heard from like everyone that the show is better than the book because I have not read the book and I have not finished the series yet, but pretty good so far. I don't know if that counts because there was already one season out before, but the second season came out this year. Yeah, I need to see more adaptations. Oh, I tried to watch One Day. That came out this year, right? I watched a few episodes of that. I don't know if that counts. I don't have a best one, but I've seen some. It counts for something, I guess. The most frustrating book that you read this year. And this one I have to think. What frustrated me? I know. And I don't even own the book anymore because it just really pissed me off so bad that I have to get it out of here. And that book is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. It just really frustrated me. It just frustrated me because I felt lied to. I felt deceived. Maybe that's the point, but like at the same time, if I wasn't deceived and lied to, then there would have been no point of reading because it was so obvious. You don't know unless you know. For a thriller, I did not enjoy the ride along the way. I felt like a lot of things were just being reiterated, and then to make it to the end and you find out what really happened, it's just like a cop-out. I don't know. I just feel like it could have been better. And that's all I gotta say about that. Let's move on. A book you haven't stopped thinking about. Obviously, Magnolia Park's universe, but I've mentioned that already. So we're gonna let some other books have their moment because, like I said, I will not shut up about the Magnolia Park's universe. So obviously, another honorable mention, I think about them constantly. So, but I also think about Yasmin and Josiah. Like, this book just really did something for me. Like, I love second chance romance. It always hits for me, and it is so much deeper than you'd expect. And it was just beautiful watching them find their way back together and watching them grow, develop, and broaden their horizons, and just see things from each other's point of view and from new perspectives. It was just beautiful. And then at the end, when they were dancing, they played that song, Let's Stay Together. I had to put on that song after and just dance it out because I was just so happy they came back together. I'm so in love with you. I love this book, and I'm very excited for the next one. I also want to get to that pretty soon. Book you thought you'd love but did not. For me, that book is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a thriller, and I thought I'd love it because the little synopsis on the back sounded amazing. Sounded like something I would love. Rear Window meets Get Out. That sounds amazing. But this was incredibly slow, and the premise was amazing. It was just entirely too slow, and then when it finally got the ball rolling, everything was just happening way too fast. The pacing was just not so great, but I didn't dislike it. I just did not love it. So, book with the most unique concept you read this year. Okay, so for this question, I have 2 books. First one, In 5 Years by Rebecca Serle. This, our main character, she is waking up 5 years into the future with a totally, completely different life, different apartment, different man, different ring on her finger, completely different. So it's magical realism, and that's all I'll say for that. So yeah, very unique concept. And then the second book I have, Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and this is very unique because it's about 2 addicts, and Lo is addicted to alcohol, Lily is addicted to sex, and I feel like we don't really hear a lot about sex addiction, and me personally, I've just never read a book speaking about addiction in general, so I think it's a very unique concept, having them together and then trying to work through their addictions and being together. Your favorite covers of the year. Okay, for ones that came out this year, I love This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. It's just so beautiful. Like, the books in this series, so beautiful. And then obviously we have Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings. I mean, all of the original covers, they're all just a work of art. Like, I'm obsessed with. I knew I had to get the original ones. Book you read this year that you would reread. I would reread Magnolia Park series, of course. I think I'd reread Normal People by Sally Rooney. I would pick it up, but it's at the bottom of the book stack now, so. And then probably Before I Let You Go by Kennedy Ryan. But to be honest, I'm not like a huge rereader. I have yet to reread anything thus far, but I feel like I would reread the Magnolia Park series for sure. Okay, now let's talk about my Goodreads goal for 2024. My Goodreads goal, I didn't even set at the beginning of the year. I set like a month or 2 ago. But I set it for 40 books. Right now, I have read 39 books, but I'm currently reading my 40th book, and I should be done like tomorrow. So, yeah, for me. Next year's goal, we're gonna do 50 books. Because 2023, I set it for 30, this year 40, next year 50. I love to challenge myself and make it a bit higher. So it'll be my 3rd year consistently reading, so hopefully I can do it. What will you prioritize in your 2025 reading year? In 2025, I will prioritize reading books that aren't like mainstream popular. Like, I feel like I read a lot of popular books. So I want to try to find books that aren't so trendy, because sometimes I just hear a lot of hype about a book and that like can kind of affect my opinion. Like, if I go in thinking that it's going to be this amazing huge thing and then it's not, then I'm like so let down, then I rate it really low because my expectations were just so high. So it's easy to be let down. And yeah, I just want to find new books anyway, just in general. And then I also want to prioritize DNFing, because I feel like some books I could have just DNF'd, but maybe I was filming and wanted to like make it through the book. But I just feel like if I'm not enjoying it, if I'm not loving it, if I'm not having a good time, just DNF it, babe. Just DNF it. It's not that serious. Because in reality, reading should be fun. This is a hobby after all, like, make it fun. And then last but not least, I also want to try more genres. I've been having fun with trying new genres and like reading books that are outside of my comfort zone. So I definitely want to keep doing that in the year 2025. But okay, that is all the questions I have. So I'm going to end off this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me yap about books and sip on some coffee. I hope you had you a little drink and a blanket, got cozy and settled in. And if you yourself want to answer these questions down below in the comments, let me know, because I'm so interested and I'd love to like see you guys' opinions and see you guys' experience that you've had with books this year. Like, so fun. I especially want to know your favorites. Like, let me know. Least favorites, all that jazz. But okay, if you have made it up to this point in the video, you're a real one. But also comment down below this emoji, just because I like to see you watch my videos all the way through. And it's kind of like an inside joke that only the besties know. So leave that down below so I know if we're besties or not. Guys, this light is blinding. The things I would do for you guys. The things I would do for you guys. I love you guys so much.